It's the end of festival season in South Australia, and there's no better way to celebrate than with a festival of democracy.
This time 4 years ago, voters terminated a 16-year-old Labor government, but nobody could have predicted the turbulence that awaited new Liberal Premier Stephen Marshall.
He's withstood a pandemic and internal party division to become just the second Liberal Premier in half a century to survive a full term.
The government's soaring approval ratings fell away with the arrival of Omicron, with the Liberals now regarded as the underdog.
Will voters reward a Marshall government for its stewardship of the pandemic?
Or will they be enticed by a youthful Labor leader campaigning largely on health?
Live across the country from beautiful Adelaide, welcome to SA Votes. Welcome to the ABC's Election Centre in Adelaide on Kaurna country. I'm Jessica Harmson.
And I'm Rory McLaren. It's just gone 6 p.m. and the polls have now closed across the state, which means that the counting of the 2022 South Australian election is about to get underway.
We're expecting to get the first figures from the Electoral Commission within the next half an hour, and you wouldn't want anyone else to help you make sense of those numbers other than ABC Chief Election Analyst Anthony Green. Anthony, welcome to Adelaide. Take us through the state of play and how things stand at the beginning of the night.
Well, let's start off by going back to the last state election and what happened when all the results were tallied. The Liberal Party ended up with 25, a clear majority in the Parliament, the Labor Party 19, and there were 3 others. But since then, there's been redistributions, members changing seats, members changing parties. So we've changed our numbers. We've changed the allocation to say our starting point for tonight, which is the Liberal Party have 23 seats. The Labor Party has 20 seats. They've gained Flory with Francis Bedford changing seat. And there are 4 others, minor party members, independents on the crossbench. All 4 of them are ex-Liberals. The question that we're going to address tonight is, if there's a swing to Labor, do they manage to get the 4 seats they need to reach 24? Is the swing big enough? Are those sitting Liberal members in those marginal seats strong enough to withstand the swing? Can the Liberal Party win some seats back from the independents and withstand Labor? And if neither side get to 24, what will be the composition of that crossbench and who will they want to talk to about forming government?
Anthony, we've seen a large number of pre-poll and postal votes this election. What's that going to mean for the speed of the count tonight, and are we likely to see a result tonight?
Well, there's been 170,000 postal vote applications. Now, it's pretty normal around the country not to count postal votes. They have to check the declaration envelopes. That's always done the week after. But South Australia is the only state that doesn't count pre-polls on the night. The attempt to change the law to allow that didn't happen. There's 208,000 pre-polls, so there's basically about a third of votes were cast before the day, and they're not allowed to be counted tonight. They can't be counted until Monday. But it does mean that those numbers aren't massive. They're not like in Western Australia, we only got to 40% of the vote counted. Here tonight, we should get between 50 and 60%, and in most of the seats, we'll get between 50 to 60% of the vote counted. If the result's clear, that's enough to call the result. Of course, if it's a really close election, that's probably not enough. But even if they counted the pre-polls at a close election, you don't necessarily get a result. So it will depend how close the result is, whether we can call it or not. But with 50 to 60% of the vote to come in tonight, we should be able to call the election. Anthony,
thank you, and we'll hear from